Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Chairman. I will see what we can adjust. Perhaps a little bit of clips of things will be available. Right. So the e-learning preparatory class was a conception of the WSCP Nigeria chapter following the events of the last scientific meeting. And it has gone through quite a bit of changes and meetings and permutations in which all of you, most of you who are here, attended. And this preparatory class by no means indicates that you are novices or we are novices. We know a lot about doing things, but all the intention here is that we want to actually be able to bring around uniformity in something that will really resound for the Nigeria chapter of the WACP. And so you've seen these slides before. I'll just start going here. Right, so these are the dates for the meeting, which is the, of course, we all have, I will see how we can get access to getting all of this information to all of you. All of you who have registered will have these sessions automatically within your emails, and reminders will be sent to you as it would trigger a day before each meeting. Right, so what do we aim to achieve in this meeting? I have already said most of them. We want to be able to develop ourselves to build videos and also bring about questions and answers that will be used in building a website for e-learning for the WACP Nigeria chapter. How we want to achieve this is by these tutorials and how the materials to achieve this, which are the resources which are already available on our PCs, and how we use these materials to achieve this outcome, and then a demonstration of how we will go about this. And we will, number 6, go on things to do in preparation for the next session. There are going to be long demonstration sessions of PowerPoint. Now, PowerPoint is a very, very common tool, but it has lots of functionality, some of which you will see in these slides I'm sharing. OBS is another very free resource. It's heavy, but it's very useful. It's free. Slideshare, you need some login, but it's free as well. And you can actually, if you don't want to show your face when you're doing videos, it's a great tool. Then there will be opportunities and practice sessions for participants who will then share their screens and demonstrate to us what they have been up to. There will be opportunities throughout the course, and then there will be opportunities for colleagues to give feedbacks to each other. The last session will be a wrap-up day and more complex demonstrations, because that would be key in the success of the task before us. We will tie loose ends. We ask questions and answers of aspects that we have not understood. So that may answer the chairman's concerns about any part of the training that may not be clear to any participant. We hope that that last day will be attended by everyone, and that this learning process would be better and easier for us at that stage. And then how to send resources and videos over to WorthyWorks Limited so that we can actually upload them seamlessly onto the website when these are available. The idea here is that every participant who is submitting materials will actually send them to the reviewers. The reviewing teams will then review, and if there are concerns, they will send them back to those who are producing the modules. And until they are satisfied, they will not leave your pieces to us. In other words, they have to say, go ahead and submit. Once we have materials received from you, we would assume that the teams in Nigeria have all accepted that this is what should go on the website. Obviously, if there are concerns of whether we should let you know whether this is the right thing or not, you can always come back to us and say, let us vet it for you. This is for those who would review. Right, so in summary, there will be 3 sessions, as I've said. Now, let's start from here, the first session. What do we want to achieve, and how do we want to achieve what we want to achieve, and the materials to achieve what we want to achieve, how to use the materials to achieve what we want to achieve, and a short demo of how we want to achieve with the materials of achieving what we want to achieve, and things to do in preparation for how we will achieve what we want to achieve. Anyway, these are all kinds of funny ways of talking, just to draw attention, if you understand. Now, before I went into these preparations, I asked a millennial, of course, you all know this terminology, young people of nowadays, and to understand what resonates with them in terms of the learning process. And my son, who is studying pharmacy, let's assume he's like similar to a first a trainee, a doctor who's going to training, says a few things, and this is what he sent to me. Teaching in the online era. Right, so eye contact, we all believe is important. Looking at the trainees and everyone involved in the training is important in succeeding. However, you have to draw attention to emphasis. There is no issue with seeing somebody when you're teaching virtually. Now, all of you look at me. I don't know if you can't see me per se, but if you are seeing me, because I'm sharing this slide, it's blocking me. But if you look on your PCs, there is actually a camera point, which if you look at it directly, you will be looking at those who are watching you. If you look at the writing and reading the writing, you are not likely to be looking at the person looking at you. And so when you're going to be producing these materials, it would be important to remember this, that eye contact is going to be very important and vital. And so looking at the camera that you're going to use in producing these materials will be key in success. You must encourage engagement with contents. In other words, there are pauses. You come to a time when you say, okay, let's stop here. Let's think about this part, and so on and so forth. Now, beyond speaking, you have to go further on. Gesticulate, vary your voice, avoid monotony. Okay, imagine we started this meeting and all I have said is, okay, we are going to go beyond speaking, gesticulate, vary your voice. I mean, it's monotonous. You will all lose concentration. I actually believe that most of you here listen to me in the first 4 minutes. And thereafter, perhaps something distracted you. And then all of it now, you come on intermittently to actually grasp some points. I will not be surprised if at the end of this training, only a few will remember a few things. Not because you're dull, but that's the concept of human anatomy and physiology of understanding and thinking. And so all of this will come to significant play. We must be serious, but also playful. We have to encourage people to think backwards. These are all adults, and so I cannot come and give you a sledgehammer didactic teaching to say, this is what you must do. I have got to appeal to you to think, reason out, and be able to ask questions within yourselves. Feedback is an essential part of learning. So it means, therefore, you have to create, which is why the aspect of questions, pre-test and post-test, would be important. You have to encourage debates. Be ready to be challenged. In other words, when you say something that is not appropriate and a comment comes through, you should be able to reply to your trainees. In other words, you're going to be engaging with the content that you will send to us to go on the website. Personal connection is important. Connect with the students, real world scenarios, avoid abstract examples. This is another thing that a millennial wants to know. Encourage discussions, create comment section, leave room for others to contribute to the learning event. In other words, It is not, I know all that I should not be taught. No, that's not the situation here. We want engagement. Multimedia is very, very vital. Everyone carries a smartphone. Take advantage of the online space. There are lots of YouTube videos which are actually experts in teaching e-learning and how to go about building materials. The reason why we're doing this is because we are physicians and we think in a particular way. And therefore, it will be important to leverage the multimedia very, very carefully for success. Now here, what do we want to achieve? Okay, now you're going to see some of what I would want to be able to get all of us to be able to do, but forget it. If you cannot achieve this or produce slides that look the way I'm going to be demonstrating, you are not under any strict rules that the slides must be like these ones. But we would try to see how those who can follow along produce these kinds of slides. Right, so we want to form a potent resource group for e-tutoring. In other words, not only will you be useful for the group to build these kinds of materials, but you are also going to use it in your day-to-day work schedule, and which would actually put you aside, quite distinctly different from the rest of people. It is easy for people to put bullet points on PowerPoint and read through, but this is not the point. PowerPoint was never intended to be read, to be another textbook for people to read from. What PowerPoints are to do are like dummy slides. You should be listened to, but it should just keep the person's attention to what you're presenting. Visuals are very important. We will use videos and audio-based resources. We would want the team to collaborate with the building of the website. So it's going to be a continuous process. Each module participant, these are the things we will, deliverables from all of those who will be contributing modules. 15 questions, 5 of them pre-test and 10 of them post-test. All of this will be on the website for those who will be going to listen or going on the website to actually participate. And these must be very relevant things, because then at the end of the tutorial on each module, the participants should partake and find out that they know better than they actually started. We will learn to use free offline resources. Now, not the emphasis here, offline. We know the challenges of internet, and it's not because of the fault. Even if you have enough money to spend, the provider is really weak. And so in most Nigerian cities, you will have slow systems. And so offline resources to create these learning materials will be key. And those are the ones we're going to be really, really hanging on. Like I said, there are many e-learning materials online which people can go to and learn from, but they are online. We do not want to really restrict people's learning by staying online all the time. Obviously, when we produce these materials, they will go online anyway. However, the materials to use them will cost us nothing, virtually nothing, apart from the time that you will be spending in building them up. Right, so we'll go into effective e-learning video productions. Now, don't be afraid, these are all going to be introductions, but all of this, bet you, is just a static thing. It's offline, but I'm just presenting it from my PowerPoint. And you can see, you can import this from somewhere and it will just produce this kind of effect and keep attention of the person listening to you. Right, you have to be concise. Average viewing time for any person is 4 minutes. There are diehards who can actually sustain attention for longer, but it is very difficult to keep concentration of somebody for 30 minutes. I do know that some people may be very, very muscular in listening to people and perhaps boring lectures for longer. We all went through the process, but loss of interest is quick and easy. You have to give learners a sense of progress. In other words, you tell them, okay, we've got this much time left. I got this much material to do, and so on and so forth. That way, you understand how far you are from the destination, and anticipation can actually assist in concentration. Keep the learners in touch with the subject. Provide long-term value to learners. Long-term, in other words, we do not want to create this group to only provide resources for e-learning website. We also want participants to use this knowledge to also apply on their day-to-day activities. Most of us here are teaching university students, and we want to be able to be effective when we deliver our lectures. If we use some of these resources and abilities when we're teaching students or postgraduates, it will definitely achieve a lot better outcomes than it is perhaps at the moment. So contents have to have long-term value. They have to include evidence-based information. You have to saturate contents with evergreen examples. If you're going to be talking about fever, obviously it makes sense to start talking about malaria more than talking about viruses. All right. The quality of delivering the information must be equal to none. You have got to adjust the volume and project your voice to the end of the classroom. Now remember, this classroom is virtual, but yet the voice has got to go out and actually project to the ears, the invisible ears that are listening to you. You've got to remove every noise background. By the start of this presentation, you saw something. There was a kind of an appearance over here. And what was that? It was intended to remove any background, whether beautiful or not. Obviously, if you cannot produce a background that will block that, stay in a place that is painted, or even if you have a timber shed somewhere that cannot give a distraction, or a pile of books that are not well arranged, it can distract from the person that is listening to you. So it must be very important. There are 4 more points here. I already talked about avoiding dull and monotonous voice, change and vary, bring some excitement at some stage, turn around, and perhaps if you have a chance to do a bit of cartoonish talking, that would also keep the concentration on. I'm sure we knew those favorite teachers of ours who will jokingly say things, and it will definitely keep attention. Sound engaging. Don't be looking as if, oh, there's something waiting for you out there that is more important than the teaching. Love what you're going to be doing. And then do a storytelling pattern of speech. Let there be a flow from the connecting the first point to the second and on to the third. There should be that connection all the time. Many of those who do e-learning believe that external audio devices are very, very vital. In other words, if you had an opportunity to connect a microphone to your PC, then you're going to get a better voice quality. If, however, you have a Mac, such as I am doing, I tend to think that the Mac actually produces better voice quality than the Windows. However, many of us may have Windows, which I have always had Windows till recently anyway. When you do, then using some kind of external microphones and connecting will produce better voice quality. There are lots of editing softwares there that could actually adjust things for you when you're finished editing, but listen to it carefully before you can actually send it through. Otherwise, there's no point sending through information that people cannot listen to, and the voice quality is completely marred to the point that people wouldn't understand what you would be saying. Now, here is buttressing the important point I mentioned earlier. Listen and edit your materials. Ensure there is a flow. Several softwares there. Camtasia. Now, the links to this will be available. when I produce the tutorials, that would be a static one, which you can copy and paste. But I believe that some of you are already using Camtasia. I did use it before, but I no longer use it. RecordIT is another one, which I will show a demo of shortly. ScreenFlow is another one. iMovie, I have used iMovie on Mac for some time. And there is also another one, which you'll see shortly. Now let's see, have a watch of what this man is saying about Camtasia.
Hey everyone, Kevin here. Today, I want to show you how you can use Camtasia 2021. This is the latest version of the software that just recently came out. So what is Camtasia? Well, it's a very easy to use screen recorder and also video editing program. And it's especially well suited for things like training videos, tutorials, walkthroughs, demos. So why is it so good for those? Well, it makes it really easy to annotate your screen, to highlight your mouse cursor, or even to zoom in and out on your screen. Basically, you just need to focus on the message that you want to communicate, and Camtasia takes care of the heavy lifting of pulling together the video. Today, I'm going to pull together a training video for the Kevin Cookie Company. Everyone tells me they don't know how to order cookies from the Kevin Cookie Company, so I figured a video could help with that. First,
Right, so I have stopped on that just introduction, but that doesn't mean, it just tell you that there's something Camtasia which can be used. Again, we'll go on to RecordIT.
Today I'm going to show you how to make quick and easy screencasts and GIFs using RecordIT. G'day, Paul from Democast Media, helping you supercharge your workflow with screen capture. So I'm doing a review on RecordIT. It's an easy way to make screencasts and GIFs. It's got a really easy way to share that with others. But there is a warning there. You need to be aware that those things get saved on the public server, and we'll address that issue later. But firstly, let's look at how to download the application. So first thing you want to do is head over to recordit.co, where you can download a Mac or Windows version of the program for free. Hit the link to start the download. And once you've done the setup installation process, you'll find the recorded icon in the system tray down there. Hitting the icon triggers. Today I'm going to show you how to make quick.
Well, that is how RecordIT is. And then a little bit about this next one, which is iMovie, which I've used before.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. Today, I'm going to be showing you the basic features of iMovie. Today, we are using version 10.1.5, and I'll be taking you through, from a fairly beginner-friendly perspective, all the basic features you are likely to want to use for most video editing. So let's get started. So after you open iMovie, here's how we're going to get started. We're going to click on the Projects tab up here, and now we will go Create New. And we're going to create a movie, not a trailer. Trailers are preset templates. We just want a movie, a blank slate. One thing to note before we get started is that iMovie always auto-saves. You never have to file, save your project or anything like that. It's just going to auto-save throughout. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to want to get our video in here. Now I've got some media clips you can see right here that I can drag down to my timeline in the video. But the way I usually like to do it is just get it on the desktop or in a folder somewhere and drag it in.
Well, I stopped that again.
Drag and drop that in. Alternatively, you could use the import button right here and import it and then drag.
Here is what most of us may have on our PCs, which is the Windows 10 video editor.
Now, don't let that deceive you. The video editor that Microsoft includes as part of the Photos app is a fully functional video editor. You can do all sorts of things like trimming and splitting clips and reorganizing clips. And I'm going to walk through a sample video today. We're going to go ahead and edit it together, and I'll show you the full functionality of the video editor. The great news is you don't have to go out and buy video editing software. You don't have to search for free video editing software. Instead, if you're on Windows 10, you already have some awesome software to edit videos with. All right, well, why don't we jump on the PC and I'll show you first off how we could start using it, and then we'll edit a video together. Here I am on my Windows 10 desktop, and first off, I want to show you how we can open the video editor that comes with Windows 10. Let's go down to our taskbar, and within the search field, we're going to type in video editor. You'll see that the best match here says video editor. We're going to go ahead and click on that. This opens up the video editor that comes with Windows 10. The benefit of typing in video editor and launching that way is it opens the Photos app, but drops us directly into the video projects view. If instead we had opened the Photos app, we would then have to navigate to the video view within the Photos app. So it's a little bit quicker going this way. On the main video editor screen, you have a bunch of different options, and I want to walk through what you can do here. In the top left-hand corner, and perhaps one of the most important things that we could do here is we can kick off a new video project. When we click on this, this will drop us into a blank.
Right. I almost feel like we should stop here for a pause, but give me about 9 minutes. We will be stopping for, tea or coffee, whatever it is that you would like and fancy. And then we can continue from there. But just bear me to listen to this 1 or 2 additional things. What materials do you need? Now, I already mentioned that in a few emails or communication. Here, you need knowledge. There is no way. Knowledge is key, and I believe all of us are certified with every knowledge that and character that we need to perform. We need a PC. I believe that we're watching this on our PCs because there's no way you can demonstrate or follow any of the tutorials that we will be going through without having a PC. I think if you're listening on a mobile today, try and make sure that you've got a PC connected next time. And you need a webcam. Now, most of laptops come with webcams already attached. That is very important that you allow that system to work for you, because there's no way you would not want to be seen. Some of us are very shy in terms of being seen through a camera or videos. Well, if you insist that you don't want your face to be shown, then perhaps that is also something you can keep, because not everybody must show themselves. But a webcam is an important tool if you have got to produce effective learning systems. You need a microphone. I already mentioned the importance of microphone. Earlier, we had talked about the fact that if these microphones are connected to Windows, then you produce better quality audios. You need some imagination. You have to think and see those you're teaching, looking at the laptop as though the students or doctors. And that's very important. You have to imagine, or else you will never get it right. A background. Yes, this is quite important. There's no way you would not want to speak, and then things behind you is distracting people. Now, if it may interest some of you listening, all of this were produced ad hoc using shapes, photos, images, and writing. Right, someone raised their hand. I hope the question, is it time to stop? Possibly, I should. Can I stop then? Yes, so that we can actually take some feedbacks or questions, and then we'll continue from there when we're back. I'll stop sharing at this moment, and then we'll continue from this slide next. We had gone through a few parts already for those who are joining a bit late, but I can see that all of us who had been here have remained, which is very, very satisfying to know. I will shortly take us through to the slide that we stopped at so that we have an overview of some of the things we will be able to achieve by the end of the 3 sessions. I will implore all of us, those who have had the emails on our system, which I think is about 75 and or maybe 83 really people on our email list. you have all been sent information to your emails. Some of you, it may have gone to your spam count, not because of anything, but your email settings may think that WorthyWorks Limited is actually a spam or a kind of a fraud, and it's not your fault. So you just check your spam folder to be sure that the email is not deposited there. And once you take it out, allow it so that you can enable emails to come from us. That way you will not miss any information or communication from our team. I hope this is clear. Right, with that done, I will take you to the continuation of what we were doing before. And it will be, that's fine, I'm gonna share now. Perfect. I think we are already at this point. Well, rules about using slides. Visual cues. Slides should serve as visual cues to accompany speech. Never should you put the slide up and tell participants, okay, you can read what is there. No. Let me tell you, reality is that reading is faster than speech. And so if you write sentences on slides and you are still reading at the same time, people will get bored easily because it means therefore they would have finished reading what you wrote before you even say it, and you would be like wasting their own time. And so it's better to just put those slides as dummies. Put the bulleted points and don't put full sentences, full stop, and so on and so forth. It is really, really distracting. Animated graphics could help. Obviously, you don't want to overdo it. Otherwise, it could also be over distracting. There are many things out there. Go Animate or Whiteboard would be there, but PowerPoint is what most of us are used to. But some of you are actually advanced and may be able to use systems that you already have within your wallet to use. Drawings and photos can be very effective. It may even just be scribbles that you do by yourself, not asking for any graphic artist to do it for you. You are to avoid reading texts on slides. Do not do it. Do it to some degree, but let it just be something people look forward to hearing your voice more than reading what is on the slides. Do not write out long sentences on PowerPoint. And of course, make sure that it is readable. Those long wavy delays to allow you finish and go on to the next point can really, really, really take your readers or those who listen to you away from really concentrating. Okay. Now, include active elements whenever you're actually doing things. Now, do I have to really put this man here? But you will tell me, feedback to me, if you think that putting this man on this screen kept your attention to listening to what I'm going to say next. So putting things there is actually very, very important, especially when you're making surveys or polls, assignments, and adding all those parts. At some point, you can ask questions and wait for the person to think out an answer before you proceed. Encourage discussions, ask open-ended questions. Engage critical thinking of those who are listening to you. Plan to pause so that the information you have given can sink in. Remember, anytime you move a person from their comfort zone to their state of discomfort, discomfort, let me put it that way, that is the point they may learn something. So try to engage their critical thinking. If you cannot get those listening to you to that point, then you're unlikely to deliver any new information to them. Right. Now, I don't know if you can do this at this point, but it would make sense to actually demonstrate this. The only challenge here is that you're all listening or looking at this. So you are unlikely to actually get onto your PC to demonstrate it. But this is for showing you at the moment. At some point, I'm going to show my screen, take up a PowerPoint, and you may follow if you desire to. But it may be too elementary for some people. And when it is elementary for you, just watch. But if you want to practice it, perfect. How do we, let me show you the example here, okay? You click on insert. So the other one showed you can actually start on the file you've opened and put on the home page. That is after you've opened a blank presentation sheet. Then you can go into insert within the top bar. And here I'm going to allow this to play so that you will see how you can insert some parts. So the insert is going to shapes now. And then I'm selecting the icon. So that icon, remember, all of these are free. Starting with images. You want to insert a hospital or an organ or a stethoscope or whatever you want, you select it. And these are images that are available to you. And these are, if you have the Microsoft 365 subscription, you have full access to the full library of a creative content. But if you don't, you can always insert images or photos that you yourself have uploaded onto your PC. You can see we fetch that photo directly, and then the design ideas will automatically be generated for you. And if you choose to go with the design, that's another thing. Okay, that is done. The next, you were adding another new slide, which of course this is basic, and I'm sure we all know this part. And then we're going to icon again. So the cutout people there is another resource there. You would have seen me using a particular person here, a doctor, and it brings up the kind of person you want to select and the mood you want to show. That has captured that, and you can change that photo depending on the effect you want to present. At this point, I'm trying to show another blank slide so that I can do another maneuver again. Perfect. So I think this is just a demo at this point. So we'll go on to the next slide. So you can see how perfectly you've done that. If you can achieve that, then you already know how to manipulate basic insertion of important reports. But there are so many other things that show whenever you intend to insert an icon. And I will show you some of that now. You see that there is this thing known as Pixton. If you don't have it on your PC, it is free. And now that you're linked up, perhaps one of the things we will gain today is to get Pixton onto your systems. It is free, like I mentioned, and you can actually get it onto your system. And this is how it's very good because it brings out comic characters, and those are unlikely to get you into infringement of any plagiarism or using photos inappropriately. And it actually produces a significant effect when you're giving a lecture. And all you do is you go to add-ins and then type Pixton, and you can then add it to your PowerPoint, which stays with you forever on your PC. And there it shows towards the right side for your PC, and which when you have a blank slide, you can click on it, and then you will pick a type. And if you've already picked a type before, you can always go to recent and you can customize. And here I picked this type. And of course, you pick somebody of that nature, and you can then insert it depending on what kind of effect you want to produce. Good. Here, I will show you a demonstration of a tutorial I gave on building a database app. This is not being cheeky, but to tell you that I do a lot of things IT as if that were my practice, although I'm a doctor. But this is a kind of an app I built using an OBS, which is a very, very powerful tool I use in teaching and producing YouTube videos. If any of you are using OBS, which is free as well, I advise that you use that in building your videos, and you can always edit it within iMovie or the Windows system. I'll show you this kind of video.
Hi, this is Dr. Ladeb. I'm just up here again trying to guide you through producing a database app using PySimple GUI. You just follow. First of all, you want to import the module, which is known as PySimple GUI. We'll spell that for you as SG. And then you can create a layout, and which will then contain some things within that layout. And go on to create a window.
Right, so this is basically I just demonstrated that to you, not to only show my skill, which of course is some financial time out there, but it was also intended to show how effective that can actually show. By hiding my face, I allowed the system to show itself so that the person who is viewing can actually interact with the contents, and I want them to see and how to follow, okay? Now here, I'm going to click on the Slideshare. Some of you may know how to use it already, but Slideshare is free and it is very, very vital. If you want to use PDF or just PowerPoint to generate a kind of a follow through without talking over, you can see it opening there. This is one of my apps that I did on just hepatitis B, and here it's quite effective. You just read through very easily. And with the animation, it makes it just interactive with simple follow through. The person will then understand. And the beauty is that it gives you a kind of down here, transcript as well below, which you can then follow. Okay. I'll go back to this point. We'll continue from here. Slideshare is another resource that you can build, but I think that for our purpose, if you're camera shy, then Slideshare will be one way. But I bet you your video may not really go far, because lots of those trainees nowadays tend to want to listen to voices. Right. How do we prepare e-learning materials? These are the real points that we would be working. Like I said, I warn that it's going to be boring for some people, but it will be really a new direction and purpose for some of us. Whichever direction or whatever level you are, please support the others so that we will be at the same level. Slide transitions are important. There is something known as morph, which is very important, and it's actually quite professional to use when you're presenting. customizing images and shapes, and how to create videos using PowerPoint. Those are the real strength of what we will be doing during our time together to develop ourselves. Right. You already see a little bit of transformation there. So if you have a PC, I thought that this kind of assignment should be available for some of you. If you want to choose to write it somewhere, I'll give you about 2 minutes or so that you can get this as an assignment, please. If you have a pen or paper somewhere, write this down to go and do MOF, which you will be able to present to us at the next. Any person who has already mastered that can present on Thursday. I believe we are meeting on the 21st. And morphing, you should just learn how to do this. I'll give you just 2 minutes, please. Just write that down and see how you can follow that. Don't worry if you don't understand it for now. You will see some of it in demonstration, and then perhaps it may give you a little bit of idea. One minute gone. Right, I think that should do. Okay, this is a kind of a MOF example. Suppose, as a gastroenterologist, you want to teach students about the villi. See how it works. Now, the villi is the absorptive surface of the small bowel. When it is healthy, it looks beautiful, very nice, and juicy. However, when there is infection on it, it can be nasty. And this is how it looks when it is nasty. Sorry. There's some noise in the background.
We really want to welcome us all. Some of us are about to travel.
Hello.
Some of us are in town. Some of us, people have come from far and near. We want to appreciate you. I want to thank you for honoring us.
I'm having to pause my presentation.
Share our joy.
There's some noise.
With our sister.
Yeah, I think, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead. There is a microphone. Somebody has not muted. I don't know whether you can mute him from there. I think if you look at the screen, there is a microphone that has not been muted. Some noise is coming from there.
Okay. So we'll go straight to the next item here.
The challenge is that I have to be presenting and unmuting people, which is really strange. I
will just handle that. Dr. Bindo, please mute your microphone, please.
I muted him. I've done that now.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much for alerting to that effect. Right, we'll go to the presentation now. Right, so can I go back on this slide that I was trying to demonstrate how MOFs work? Okay. I was talking about villi, healthy and inflamed with bacterial or germs, and then it looks very red when it's inflamed. Now, then you come to a summary to say what it is. Now, imagine how effective this kind of presentation will give to the person listening to you. Not only have they heard you, but they can actually conceptualize this in their brains, and it is very effective. Another one that we can use MOF in is, we're talking about the alimentary tract of the person. Right. This esophagogastric junction, which is actually where the food pipe joins the stomach, can actually have a disease, which then impairs entry of food into the stomach. We do know that excess feces within the transverse colon could also cause problems. And that means that there will be early satiety. Occasionally, if the bowel is blocked, there is a lot of distension of the small bowel. Now, this has all transmitted information in summary of what you want to pass across. In other words, it creates emphasis on parts of the system and as you speak. Another example of morphing is that we can also use customized bullet points. How do we develop customized bullet points? Obviously, we know that bullet points can be easily made by a drop-down, isn't it? But all of this, you can name them, create circles by yourself. You can then, from shapes, you overlap two oval shapes and make one smaller and then subtract, which are all available on PowerPoint. You can change the background color to a desired one, and you can insert a number text or format as needed. Okay, so that is another way of creating effects. Now, instead of creating a lot of money or spending a lot on systems, a lot more surprises are coming. And here you can see this is not a vehicle moving on a system. You just imported a PNG and it actually comes without a background and it appears as if it is all by itself moving, simply by giving some instructions on PowerPoint for this van to do this. Again, another factor. Teaching clinical medicine is becoming more interesting, I think. The tools available to us and the online resources mean that the role of our tutors is going to be limited. This is true only if the current trainees embrace the tools we have at hand. Now tell me, how more effective could I pass this information across to those who want to listen? Well, I believe those in community medicine will bear me witness that if they want to talk about timeline, it is going to be very, very interesting if they can show some pictures. I know one of the subjects I hated most was history, but I believed if at that time they could show me timelines like this, I would remember everything. For example, quality standards in GI endoscopy started since 1994. And as of 2019, things have advanced rapidly. Here is how the story has gone. In 1994, the JAC system was established. Well, the first meeting took place and a statement was passed in 1999. 2002 was the first committee meeting. 2 years afterwards, a pilot test of the global rating system was launched. The JETS e-portfolio launch also came into being, which is actually the system that receives databases from all across hospitals. 3 years after, this has moved on to New Zealand and Ireland. There's the start of the National Endoscopy Project 2 years after that in 2013. Well, by 2017, JAC has become a big research group system, and now it's a workforce. It is going to change even as we speak. Right, in summary, now Think about this. Listening to me from that end, looking at emphasis and following the time trend with all the appearances, I guess you would appreciate very, very significantly what I have passed across. I leave this for you to think. Do you think PowerPoint has some benefits or is a waste of our time? Should we not give away or do away with writing notes and reading from PowerPoints, especially in conferences where you expect somebody to talk about their research, but they are rather reading methodology, conclusion?
I was just going to react to the, I think the person that has a question about writing long notes for students. I think it's a wrong assumption that we come with, that the students don't know anything at all, even at undergraduate level. And it also depends on how we want to train the students. Because like for my school, in my college, we've changed our curriculum and we want the students to be self-directed learners. And they can't be self-directed learners if we continue to give them those long didactic notes and all that. They need to learn how to go search for information, look for where to find materials and all that. We can help them by giving them the sites, to search, and correct and get information. And when you try it out, sometimes they come with information you don't even have. So I don't think giving them long didactic notes, makes them better, or the assumption that if you do bullet points, they will not learn. I'm not sure that is absolutely correct. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that comment, Amam. Any other questions? We got about 19 minutes to finish today's session. Right, okay, Antoinette Ophelia.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Lade. Thank you so much for your presentation. I found it very interesting because of this issue because of COVID, a lot of things have been tried. For example, I just want to add to Dr. Mbakwe's discussion, what she just said. One of the things I did for my undergraduate students is to put my speech, record my speech before my lecture. Okay. And then I send the recorded speech long ahead of my lecture so that they can listen to the recorded speech. And I was listening to you. You try to make it, you don't use the same voice all through. You emphasize certain areas. You find so that they will listen and find it interesting. Then after that, I now come for my lecture. It could be on Zoom. So when we have a Zoom lecture, then it should be more of interactive session. So I don't need to have those long, I don't need to write my slides don't have to be very long. So they can just be bullet points. They've already listened to my speech, and then they can prepare their notes. And then they like what Dr. Mbakwe said, it will also give them an opportunity to go and do some more research. And you find that they find the lectures very interesting. And you yourself feel happy and you feel satisfied at the end of the lecture. And that's what I've been doing with my students. I think we should start looking at other options than those long notes, because they are very boring. They just keep writing and writing. So they don't need to write. I always tell them, even they should record my speech. In addition to that, when we are discussing, you record what happened you're free to do that. Record what happened during the lecture. Thank you very much.
That is very brilliant, Dr. Ophelia. Thank you very much. That's a very positive feedback. Right, I think that's your hand. It's a legacy hand from Antoinette. I am not sure there's another hand raised. I will conclude by just trying to show us how to download Pixton if you don't have it on your system already. Is that something you would like to see?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay then, so I'm going to share my screen now.
Sorry, are we also going to have the demonstration of how to use the map you mentioned, so you could take it all in this session?
Oh, I see. Which one should we do now?
We can do both. If the 19 minutes, as you said, or 16 can take.
Okay then. All right. Let me just. Right. So I'm going to show you my screen now. Right. So this I will. So this is my PowerPoint here. Perfect. I am going to open a new presentation. Here, I'm going to just change this layout to a blank space. If you want to go on to find a pixel, I already have it on my PC. Sorry, my name is actually blocking this. Let me move this away. Okay, you can see pixel characters on the right side.
Yeah. Yes.
Right, so if you don't have it, go to Insert, and there's Get Add-ins. Okay, after you get, if you stay on homepage, you will not see that. But if you go on Insert, you will see Get Add-ins, and then it opens the browser for you. You have to be online to do this. And then search App Source Apps. Okay, so you put Pixton. There, so it's a Pixton comic characters. Then you click on that. Okay, you see that the pricing is free, and so you just say get it now. Click on that, and of course you have to sign in for a free account or something. If you don't have a Microsoft account, which is a free account, you don't really need to put anything. Just put whatever account that you want there, or create a Microsoft account, and it will then, when you've finished it, it will appear, your pixel will appear on the right side. And you can then, on this slide, we want to insert a Pixton character. So you click on the Pixton, and the first thing that will appear will be this area, which you have to put on Get Started. And here, the quick start will give you different shapes of people. Now, if you are somebody who do not want to propagate the white race, you want to look for somebody with a short hair. Okay? Interestingly, all of them look white anyway, but this person looks a bit darker than the whites. Okay? And we keep following until we look at the hair that fits our situation. Now, what do you want? Do you want to insert a patient, or you want to put a chef, or you want to put a doctor? Let's select a doctor, okay? And then what emphasis would you want to bring out? Well, you want to say medical profession is very important. So you click on that, and it imports it directly onto your slide. And you can actually alter it depending on how you want to do with it. And let's imagine you then want to show it. You can see how it looks. Obviously, you can also add animation on it as well, but we will talk about that at some point. That is how to import Pixton characters, which you will use. If you want to use them. They are very effective. You can use the same character throughout. Obviously, we will also know how to insert a lot of information here by going to shapes and using shapes. You will see that I don't use, most of my slide presentation do not actually use designs that are already on the system. I go on blank pages, and I do customize slides myself, and which actually makes for a lot of interest as well. Okay, I think the Pixton thing is understood. If not, I'll go over again, close this. On the home page, insert Get Add-ins, opens You then go onto the search, Microsoft search area, you put Pixton, brings it up, click on that, and then get it now. And you put in, it is not going to cost you anything, and sign up for a free account, and it will download it onto your PowerPoint and stays there forever, which you can use whenever you want to. That is Pixton characters. Very good. It's given us time to do more. So let's take this out and let me do a short morph for us. You are going to do a morph. Let's imagine I want a cardiologist to do a morph on a cardiology related topic. I want a gastroenterologist to do another one. I mean, as many of you have different things, but going to do a morph on a picture that you want to present. Okay? So in this case, we want to import a picture onto this blank slide. Here, you come to insert, you go to picture, then you are actually going to, if you have the picture on your PC already, you use the photo browser. Now, the confusion I don't want to cause here is that I'm using a Mac, but PowerPoint is the same, and it should actually give you similar things, experiences. If there are issues with this, I will have to use a Windows next time, so that it will actually, you can just see the presentation as you would want to see on your own PCs. But I presume you will all understand what I'm doing here. So if you want to import a picture from online, you can go on this one instead. Let me then think about Bing. A lot of them are free, so you can actually, let's talk about, what do we want to talk about today? Chambers of the heart. I'm not a cardiologist, so if I goof here, please forgive me. Right, so I want to import this. Okay, you just type it there, then it brings up a lot of them for you. So you choose whichever one you want to choose. Maybe, okay, you see what, let me undo that one. I'll go to one that is a little bit virgin. That's fine. So then I import it by clicking insert. I'll remove this photo point there and expand it. Just fill the space here. I agree, this is not the best of photos, but it's meeting the purpose for us today. We want to talk about how blood flows into and from the heart, and that's all that I am presenting in this case here. So I have imported the picture here. So in order to create this to morph when I speak, all I need to do is, first of all, I'll actually duplicate the slide, click on the left side, click on duplicate, and then it imports and news another slide there for you. And then come to the main play window here, click on it, left click rather, and then you're going to copy, that is Control C on Windows, whereas it's Command C on Mac. And then you're going to paste it still on the same image. So there are two images there, okay? Move one of them away from the other one, and then click on the first one. Now, these things are actually going to be my way to demonstrate some things here, but I'm just trying to show you. Click on the first one, the one behind. And we're going to use something here. Oh my goodness, where can I find my, I am having to move this. I hope I can move this without really stopping this presentation. Very good. I'm moving it down. Perfect. Right. So here I have clicked on the one behind, not the one in front. Here it's different. So the one behind, and you go to format picture format. That is the same. And all you're interested in is in the color. And you then select a color that is gray colored. Okay? So you've changed the color of the one behind, and the one in front remains the original. Then you come back, left click on it, and then you try and merge them. And don't be afraid, when you merge it, you will see how it actually tells you it's merged together by bringing it back. Then you actually make the whole of this window smaller by actually grabbing this bar here, moving it that way smaller, okay? And this is the reasoning. We want to catch both of the images and expand them. So you actually highlight both of them by using the mouse, whatever it is, and all of that means it's been completely selected. Now be observing the left side, and we will do something here. We're going to hold one side, one of the edges, and draw it, make it big. Still highlighted, I have not done anything. So you left click on it and move it into, so that you want to show within the left window the right atrium. You just want to show one part at a time. Now that we have moved the left atrium into the center of interest, you click outside, okay? And then you bring your arrow and click on top. Now this time around, when you click on top, then it means it's not actually going to affect the one behind. So you click on top, and then you're going to do something here, which is, so let me move this again. You are going to picture format again. You're going to use crop, and this cropping, you can crop with it according to shape. Just don't crop, just crop according to shape. If you crop like that, it would give a square, but if you want to use an oval shape, you click on that, okay? Once you've done that, don't click on the picture yet, you come to the crop, click on it now. Now you see that it's creating something already. It's bringing out a shape for you. You then will have to narrow this shape. Okay, see it just narrowing there. Narrow it into just keeping the side of interest to highlight. Very good. So you've done that. So it's actually, so you can see the value of putting the other one in gray scale color, because then it has highlighted the part that you want to show. At this point, you've already formatted that part. So what you want to do next is to repeat it for each of the other chambers you want to highlight. So you're going to show about the flow of blood from the right atrium to the right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, okay? Right, so then, without really doing anything to that slide, you come again to the left chamber here, the left column, you duplicate that one. You've moved away from the first slide. Now you're on the second one now. Here, you then select again the entire slide. Now it's going to move everything you've done together, because remember, you should select everything there. And without clicking, you left click and then move this. The intention is to show the right atrium. So I've moved it now, okay? Without clicking, I will then go to format picture again. Of course, click outside. Sorry, I should then click on top. format. Sorry, I think I did something not right there. I'll move it again. Sorry, is my error there. I'll format that, move it back again. Sorry. Perfect. And then at this point, format. We're going to format picture, just clicking on that very shape here. I think that was the arrow I did. Click on that shape. Remember, it's actually on the second slide. And then you format, because you've done the circular form at this point, you're not going to to format according to shape again. It's just going to crop, and it's going to do something. So you will then move this, drag this down, and drag down to this site of interest, and keep it there. It's really engaging and time consuming. You can repeat this process. Again, for emphasis, there are only 2 more to do, so just bear with me. Again, I will select everything. Make sure you select everything, really. All of it together. Then we're going to move down until we can put, how do I know I am actually putting that image in center? By looking here. It tells me which one is coming into view. Then I know that the image of interest is shown. So I'll come over here, click outside, and then click on that place again, which is the highlighted side, and click on crop. I'm sure I heard somebody saying crop there, which is good. I'm sure you know that. So you move that into that space, and keep moving it until you've highlighted that part. Okay, the last one, we will duplicate the slide again down. It's already selected that. And I will select everything again, move it into the left ventricle being in the main site of interest. Click outside and then click on that formatted area and then click on crop again and move this again down. Move it again over here. Done. And then click on that and duplicate the last slide. This time around, you want to actually allow everything to collapse into the side without really we go on to format, sorry, picture here. Right, so this is, you want everything here to appear as it was in the original picture. Perfect, we'll stop here. Now, at this point, this is the main point of interest. When you have done this, then you actually command or control, you can highlight from the second slide, that one, and all of those ones that contain the picture. Then you go into transitions. On transitions, that's where the morph, remember the slides following have been highlighted, so you click on morph. Perfect, you can see it demonstrating already. Now I'm going to leave the duration to be 2 seconds. That's a bit long enough for us to see the effect. But we can make it quicker, and you want it to be on click of button for it to morph so that it will give you time to explain whatever you want to explain before you proceed. Make sure you don't click on apply to all, otherwise it will apply to all your slides. And that is not what you want. Okay, I bet you this is the most difficult morph that I have used, but there are simpler morphs. But for the purpose of medicine, you're going to see something a bit more interesting. So I will show you this slide now. I'm going to do a slideshow now. So look at it. Right, the heart is a beautiful organ. And blood flows from the right atrium and onto the right ventricle. From there, it's pumped to, of course, wherever, and then it comes back to the heart through the left atrium, and then the left ventricle, from where it moves to the rest of the body. Now, this picture is very dull and pale, but it's not the kind of, it's an ad hoc thing to explain how morph works and gives a direction of flow of blood across the body. It's without really doing any significant animation, you actually got this picture speaking. I think we are 5 minutes ahead of our time. We should stop here. I know there will be comments, a little bit wobbly through the process, but this is something you can play with so that we can listen to those who have already been able to morph some few things. Any comments?
Thank you very much. That is great. I think those of us who want to practice it will have really some experience to fall back on from this and then test and see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a question here. Can Pixton characters be downloaded to the MacBook version of PowerPoint? Yes, this is definitely, I'm using a MacBook as well. So yes, you can get it on on MacBook. Any more questions?